Hi, everybody. Thanks for those of you who were able to come to the Mystery School launch yesterday. It was so nice to have you. We were a small group, but it was delightful and such a great kickoff. We had more people contacting me today saying that they just couldn't get on at that time, or, it's the middle of the day, 2 p.m. In my area. So, but they'll be able to see the recording, and it'll be great to have them on our Facebook group where we can all communicate with our findings, what we're seeing, and when we look in the direction of the mystery of life, like all those questions that pop up, like the question I'm going to address during this short video. It's not from the Mystery School group. I didn't get any questions to answer today, but it came up in a session that I had with a client today. And, it happens often. And I think you can all relate. I know I certainly can. Those times when we feel life just isn't fair. Things are not working out the way we planned. They're not working out the way we want them to. And feeling like it's unfair. And what are we going to do? How do we, why us? That's a big question I hear a lot. Why me? And the answer to this lies in what we were talking about during the launch webinar. That gap between what is, the isness of life, as Sid Banks called it, what is, and how we wish it was something different. We didn't plan it to be this way. We want it to be something other than it is. That's where people get stuck, right in that. It feels like a gap to me. It's a gap in understanding is what the gap is. When people understand that life happens and it's our take on what happens that makes it good or bad. Nothing that happens to us is really directed at us personally, even if it's coming from a nasty boss or a nasty partner. It's coming from their state of mind, what they're going through in that instance, in that moment of time. So if you could have a look, just notice in your life when you go into that kind of negative thinking, that life isn't the way you planned, it didn't show up right, you're on the wrong planet. I know I've said that in a moment of good humor, but it's not always humorous. I mean, sometimes you really feel like you were dropped in the wrong planet. And that negative feeling that you get is not coming from life not showing up correctly. It's coming from how you're thinking about it. So if you get that bad feeling, you can just trace it back, like you're, pulling the cord back. You can trace it back to your own feelings that are coming from your own thinking, your own personal thinking. I bet, you've heard the story. You look at a couple and they seem to be having such a great relationship, but then you hear what is going on behind closed doors, and your heart breaks, your heart goes out to them. And the reverse too, where you wonder how, these people were drawn together, but yet they're having a beautiful time of it. Because external events, situations, circumstances, things don't matter when it comes down to, okay, I'll say it, our spiritual essence. What other words are there for what lies behind the physical world? It's great that we get this human body to explore the physical world. And we don't have to abuse ourselves with it, not just abuse our bodies, but also we don't have to abuse our state of mind by thinking about what isn't rather than what is. And, people talk about having gratitude journals and a gratitude jar. You put a quarter in a bank every time you feel gratitude or something like that. Well, there's no technique to feeling gratitude. It just comes, it takes us over, kind of like a wave, comes in and goes out. It just comes to us. But the more you honor it, and the more you're grateful for having that feeling of gratitude, the more it seems to come around. I can't explain why that is. I don't know why that is. I don't know. Is it, our thoughts or some sort of magnet? If we're in negativity, it does feel that way, doesn't it? Like we're a vacuum sucking in more negativity, or a magnet pulling in more negativity to us. And the reverse is true. When you're in a beautiful state of mind, it just seems, and you're grateful for that, knowing that that's not going to last forever either, because that's life. We have our ups and our downs. So I'm just back from spending some time in nature, and I recommend this to anyone, everyone. If you can take a mental break and just, you don't need a dog to walk to get out in nature and have a nice walk for yourself. Observe the beauty of nature. I also spent a little time sitting by water, and I was noticing a duck on a rock. And it occurred to me, like, the tide's a little low today. And, but the duck's not thinking about that. The duck is not sitting there in judgment that the water isn't quite right today. It should be higher. It should be lower. It's not fair. We never get enough water to paddle around in. No. Sometimes, maybe we should have a duck brain. Sometimes I think I do. But the point of this is that the less we use, it's really, Sid Banks spoke to this, it's really a misuse of the mind to be using it to judge ourselves and judge other people and judge our situation. We have a brain so that we can get around life, so that we can get in our car and go to the grocery store and know what we're going to get at the grocery store. We don't have a brain so we can judge things and tear ourselves apart and tear other people apart. So check it out. Just, certainly don't be hard on yourself, and don't take my word for things either. Just check it out, how things are in your life when you feel relief and when you feel like you're tied up in knots. Just look for the feeling. The feeling will let you know where your thinking is. And that's like the little hatchway out of a bad feeling state. If you catch on to the fact that, I know this has something to do with how I'm thinking right now. So let me not pay such close attention to how I'm thinking, so my mind will clear and I could see something more fresh, better, more positive. So I hope that helped, and I look forward to communicating with the rest of the school on Facebook, on our Facebook group. Okay, bye for now.